The ground rumbles beneath our feet. There's reason why we are all brought here today. There's a movement afoot. I want to share with you the journey of the Office of the Commissioner of Indigenous Languages. It's enduring resilience of Indigenous peoples that instills me with a sense of hope. This hope finds its foundation in Indigenous Languages Act and the precedent that it sets. The fight for the Act was grueling, but through the collective efforts of our people, we are here today. From the AFN calling for a state of emergency for Indigenous languages to funding cuts to the Task Force on Aboriginal Languages, Cultures, report being shelved, but we never gave up hope. We kept pressing on. So many people, including those gathered here today, are dedicated to the cause of Indigenous languages' rights. This is the reason why we were brought here today. Our mission is to promote and champion all Indigenous languages in Canada and support Indigenous peoples in the reclamation, revitalization, and strengthening and maintenance of Indigenous languages so that no language is left behind. Our vision is that all Indigenous languages are safe, vibrant, and thriving. A priority of the Commission is to hear directly from Indigenous peoples about their languages, revitalization, and efforts. This past summer, the Director traveled to various First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities to interview language speakers as part of a language documentation project. Last fall, we held our first national event in Kamloops. The participants of that gathering left inspired, not feeling they were alone in the struggle to revitalize their languages. There was a diverse cross-section of community representatives on the panels. We heard inspiring stories from speech communities in different parts of Canada where groundbreaking work of reclaiming, revitalizing use of our languages is taking place. It demonstrated to us upfront how we can turn the plight of the state of our languages around, given the right resources, institutional support, and dedication. It was truly a great national event held by the Commission. We are using it as a model to roll out others like it across the country. Youth will be the torchbearers of our languages as supported by our cherished elders who are still with us. We will continue to reach out, build relations, bring people together, and work with any potential partner within our mandate to support Indigenous peoples, work in language revitalization as we are doing here. We are hearing the absence of training for Indigenous language immersion teachers, coupled with the lack of certification accreditation pathways, impedes the preparation for Indigenous language immersion teachers. Indigenous language fluency and proficiency programs, together with specialized immersion teacher education programs, are essential to address the unique needs of language revitalization efforts. We are committed to working together with Indigenous peoples across the country to find solutions to these issues.
The wind has your hair and the hood of your parka and is singing in the taut line of the fishing rod you bought with money from your job. Fresh salmon from the river, fresh salmon from the river, fresh trout from the lake.
We do know that proposal-based funding is not the answer. Ensuring that the transition away from proposal-based funding and towards ongoing funding is a goal that we often hear across the country. The gaps in funding are huge, and we know that ongoing lobbying efforts will be needed, and we further recognize the collective effort, not just among Indigenous peoples, but with the support of many allies, will have a better chance of achieving more successful outcomes.
When I first started my work 65 years ago, I heard that there were 3 languages in our province that they said were extinct. 3 months ago, we had a ceremony for a language on Vancouver Island. We shifted from an extinct language to a sleeping language and now to a living language.
People come to learning, often think about learning our languages and even teaching our languages, that they can be taught like English or French. French immersion, for example, you can become a proficient speaker with about 700 or 800 hours of language contact. But for our languages, we're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 hours.
We heard about things that folks are doing like video games, Michif video games, theater programs. A Zoom innovation was to play Go Fish on a regular basis, to have a tea time, to get into daycare and teach the children tea time as well. Music-based, land-based programming. So that real kind of weaving in of language to every single aspect of life.
Participants found that AI could play a role as a potential resource similar to how we use apps, especially with our dictionaries, but it could not ever replace a speaker because AI does not save languages, speaking saves languages.
Marie Sinclair Tate says it best: education got us into this mess, and it's education that's going to get us out of this mess.
Reconciliation is not an Indigenous problem, but a Canadian problem. The work of reviving and revitalizing Indigenous languages requires a whole Canada approach. No longer should our languages stand in the shadow of others. The Commission thanks you for the work you are doing and for what's yet to come in the future. Together, united and strong, we will succeed.